Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamualaikum. Ji ayanu, pakhair agale, ni hao, chunashumme, washmale, ohaya gozaimasu, guten Morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba, buna, mucho gracias, swabia, bhalli kare aya, hosh gyal din, anayo sayo, huya mora, chivato, chi hal yud, kalimera, and a very warm welcome to everybody. But ladies and gentlemen, let us say it out loud. 1, 2, 3. A very happy Independence Day to each and every Pakistani who's out there, who's tuned into PTV World and are watching our World This Morning special transmission on the 14th of August, 2023. But first things first, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very lucky that with me, my wonderful colleague, dressed as a flag today, happens to be Miss Haja Sati. Hello, Haja. Assalamu alaikum, and a very happy Independence Day to you.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much for introducing me. Very happy Independence to you,
so
and
much.
all the Pakistanis out there, especially the ones who are living abroad, because I do feel that the concept of Pakistaniyat, they can feel it more. But I think, Shahzad, we're very grateful that we are working in a red zone area because it's decorated with so many buntings and with so many lightnings, and you get to see the fireworks and appreciate the beauty of Pakistan. And what do you call Pakistaniyat in the first place,
And
right?
this is, Haja, where we actually kind of get to witness national cohesion. So imagine that, you know, if you're going to start driving from Karachi, ladies and gentlemen, towards the north of Pakistan, everywhere you're going to go on the 13th of August, till the 14th of August, you're going to see that all of Pakistan is being decorated. But while we are at it, you know, I would certainly want to pay my rich tribute to all of those people who've actually sacrificed their lives back in 1947 to make sure that they're going to give their future generations a homeland which we can call Pakistan. Not just that, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to pay rich tribute to all the Shohadas and the Ghazis of the country, because they are the ones who've made sure that they're never going to let anybody compromise on our sovereignty. I would want to pay rich tribute to the teachers of the country who have made sure that they are going to produce people like me, you, and all of those people who are going to be the future generation of Pakistan. And towards the end, ladies and gentlemen, all the law enforcement agencies, all the politicians who have made sure that they're going to contribute towards the success of the country. So anybody and everybody who's played a pivotal and a very important role in contributing towards the development, prosperity and progress of the country, aap sabko hamara salam, which is why we say Hamara Pakistan, Pyara Pakistan.
Pyara Pakistan, Shahzad, thank you so much for so brilliantly putting it out there. But obviously, whenever we used to sit with our grandparents, they used to recount the tales of how Pakistan was created, how there was a mass exodus of the people, there was so much sacrifice, bloodshed that went on to build this beautiful land called Pakistan, and how Quaid-e-Azam struggled in the first place as a politician to carve out a country out of a huge, I would say, subcontinent in the past. But I think that generation is almost now gone, and we need to revive that spirit. And how do we do that? I think we also need to ask some very wonderful guests who have graced us in the studio, and we would like to ask them what does the concept of Pakistaniyat mean to them, and how do they celebrate Independence Day in general. So we are very lucky that and very glad that we have been joined by one of a very graceful personalities who has graced us in the studio, who happens to be Air Marshal retired Yusuf Chaudhary Sahab. Assalamu alaikum, sir, and thank you so much for coming to our show, and happy Independence Day to you.
Thank you very much for inviting me on such an important occasion. And I would also like to say today to you and to all the people who are watching us, Azadi Mubarak, and this is a very special occasion for all of us.
It is indeed, and thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Wonderful to have you. We have a lot more to ask the Air Marshal retired Yusuf Chaudhary Sahab, but alongside him, ladies and gentlemen, as we've already paid rich tribute to all the teachers who are out there who've been shaping the future generations of the country, we are lucky that we've been joined by an educationist who happens to be Miss Nausheen Paracha. Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Jashne Azadi Mubarak.
Thank you, Shahzad. Thank you for inviting me, and Jashne Azadi Mubarak to everyone. It is a blessing. Freedom is a blessing. That we can educate our children freely, whatever we want to.
Exactly. Thank you so much
And
for
we are
joining
living
us.
in a...
Thank you so much for joining us. Wonderful to have you here. Last but not the least, ladies and gentlemen, in this segment, we have another wonderful and regular guest of World this morning. And we certainly want to, you know, celebrate alongside all of those amazing guests, you know, who've been a regular part of our transmissions, you know, for the last decade. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by an analyst and author himself. He is Mr. Samauddin. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and Jashne Azadi Mubarak.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. and happy independence to you. And through this wonderful, beautiful morning program, I would like to extend my Mubarakbad to all Pakistanis who are watching us right now.
Right, wonderful. Thank you so much for saying that. So now let's kick forward a conversation, and Air Marshal Saab, I will come to you. So we've seen and we have heard lots of stories from my dadi, from my grandparents' generation, how there was a mass exodus when Pakistan was created in the first place. And obviously it is very famously said that in order to make sure that the taste of the azadi or the freedom or the soil of the freedom, we need to make it nutrient with the blood in the first place, right? So how do we make sure that we keep the memories of all of those shohadas, all of those people who sacrificed in creation of Pakistan alive, especially in the younger generation, because they're not very familiar with that time when it was created.
I think first of all we must acknowledge the sacrifices of the people who made Pakistan for us an independent state, which is a special blessing of Almighty Allah for anybody in this world. It is very difficult for somebody to leave his house and leave all the belongings behind and go to a place where he does not what he's going to be confronted with.
True.
And this was the biggest migration in the history of mankind, where 18 million people went from east to west and west to east, and mainly from east to west. And these people on their way to Pakistan sacrificed their near and dear ones, and many ladies lost their honor as well, and they came to a place thinking they will have a better future. And I think we owe this to our previous generation who made this country for us. It is very important that this message, this sacrifice, must be passed on to the next generation, and celebration of today is one of the main ways of communicating to our next generation what we have been through and what our elders they have been through.
And sir, I still remember it was one of these occasions where I was in conversation with you and you shared a very amazing story with all of us, and that was that, that it was somewhere that you were flying over Murray and it was pitch dark and it was late at night, and you said, look, just in your mind you were saying that, hey, everybody is far asleep, thinking that they are safe, not knowing that there is somebody flying somewhere up there, making sure that there is no going to be any miscreant coming into our space as well. So thank you so much for contributing and safeguarding Pakistan, because you happen to be one of those pillars for us. Alhamdulillah. And anybody who's actually served Pakistan in this way. But now when we move on to our teachers, ladies and gentlemen, they hold this special responsibility, and there's a reason. So imagine, meanwhile, while we were in conversation with our Dada and Dadi and Nana and Nani, they would always tell us, those, I'm not going to call them fairy tales obviously, but they always had stories that how they had to leave behind everything, come back over here and start their life from scratch. I think it's totally, not totally or 100%, but 50%, it's teachers' responsibility to kind of instill this very essence in the future generations of Pakistan. And unfortunately, the children might certainly be not aware of, what were the conditions back then, how my grandfather used to tell me that, that we would go to the railway station almost every day to see if somebody has arrived, because there was no phone calls, no nothing, and it was a lot of stress and anxiety for people, and the families detached. How do you think that you teachers can actually shape up the future of Pakistan by telling them and instilling them this conscious?
Thank you, Shahzad. I really feel about that, because I have heard one of the story that one train was totally, it was bloodshedded in the past, in the history. And nowadays the children are totally unaware of it, that how many sacrifices we have been through and our leader did. Of course, it is our responsibility to inculcate and give them awareness regarding our history. And it should be part of the syllabus and curriculum to know about what we have been through those sacrifices. And whenever I met some of the overseas, they have different kind of love for Pakistan and attachment to Pakistan. So the same thing I think we should inculcate and pour in our children.
But I hope that we do not have to be overseas for that. Nah?
No, I'm just talking about that we are taking it for granted. We do not think that freedom is a blessing. So we have to tell our children that freedom is a blessing.
I think
and
I'm going to slightly disagree. Obviously, we have to communicate this with our children. We have to inculcate, but I don't think that anybody has taken freedom for granted, because everybody now knows, people my age knows. God forbid,
but in your age knows,
Yeah.
if you can talk about the children,
So
they
how are
don't
you
know.
as a teacher doing that?
So what we do, like we continuously we are telling them, as you told that you have been through the stories and you know the history. Actually, we are detached to our history.
True.
The thing was that we have to be attached to our history. We have to be connected towards our regarding our
To our roots
leaders,
and what
army,
happened, yes.
roots, and everyone.
Exactly, that's wonderful,
think
and
so.
that's certainly what we expect from our
And we
teachers.
should appreciate and encourage that it can be happen. As you said, that we are sleeping silently and somebody is taking care of it and safeguarding of our country.
Yes.
So I think so we should acknowledge it.
Exactly,
Right,
that's what we are doing, and
that's
that's why
very
we are
true.
here today as well. Now, I would love to move on to Sabauddin Saab. So, Sabauddin Saab, the question is going to be very different for you. So, how do you see the significance of this day, where on one day, the entire nation comes together and be like, Happy Independence Day, Pakistan Zindabad, Pak Fauj Paindabad. How do you see that?
Shahzad, I see this thing very differently.
Okay.
Because when you say question, the first question is, what is Pakistan?
Ji. La ilaha illallah.
Is it a territory defined on the map? Is it a geography lined up by a fence? Are the mountains Pakistan? Is the desert Pakistan? Is the sea, building, trees? Is this Pakistan?
ये सब मेरा सर, ये है पाकिस्तान.
Actually, the people are Pakistan. A Wapra lineman climbing up an electric pylon to fix a line, he is Pakistan. A fisherman fishing in Gawadar, he is Pakistan. A railway engine driver taking engine from one place to another city, he is Pakistan.
Yeah.
So actually we have to correct the perspective that it is the people, it is the nation that makes Pakistan.
Yep.
And this Pakistan existed way before 1947. Pakistan is actually an ideology, not just a defined territory. So this ideology, whenever this ideology came into being, Pakistan came into being. And it's not the sameness or likeness of this all people coming together, it is the oneness and one belief in the ideology of Pakistan. The diversity is in Pakistan. People with different ethnic backgrounds, speaking different languages, having different custom and cultures coming together, that is Pakistan. The bond that binds them all, that is Pakistan. So first of all, you have to understand what Pakistan is.
True.
Pakistan is the people. And if people are at the center of our policy, center of our strategy, center of our plans, then we are attending to Pakistan.
Okay.
If we are not attending to this, if we are looking for something else, it is not Pakistan.
Wonderfully
Thank you.
put.
But wonderfully put it out. So now moving to you, Air Marshal Saab. So since you belong to the forces background, and when it's Azadi, when it's Independence Day celebration, so I'm pretty sure it's a very different sort of a feeling and a vibe altogether. But generally, how do you celebrate your Independence Day, and what does the concept of Pakistaniyat mean to you as someone who has served so many years in the forces of Pakistan?
I think we got to go back to what Quaid-e-Azam had vision for Pakistan, what Allama Iqbal thought of Pakistan, and that was expressed by Quaid-e-Azam in his speech to Constituent Assembly on 11th of August.
Right.
And then something was also said on the Independent Day of 14th of August. I think he very clearly said 2 or 3 principles that was for Pakistan. First one was religious independence. He realized that religion is very dear to everyone, whether he is a Muslim, Hindu or Christian. And nobody wants to anyone interfering in his religion, maybe the state, maybe the majority group. So he assured that everyone in Pakistan will be allowed to exercise his own religion without any interference from the state. Second, he was aware that to progress in this world, we have to be united as a nation. So unity was one of the cardinal principles he gave it to us. Unfortunately, we could not follow that. Third, he said merit. Merit is essential, rule of law is essential, which he did talk of. And he said there will not be any indiscrimination on the basis of religion, sect, caste or creed in our country. had we followed those rules, although to some extent we did follow, we would have been a far better country. I think these are the principles on which Pakistan was based, and these are the principles by following which we can move forward. As far as myself is concerned, remember in Pakistan it is volunteer joining of the armed forces. In certain countries it is compulsory 2 to 3 years of service. In Pakistan it is not. So anybody who is coming to the services, first of all, he is very motivated, he is very dedicated because he is coming by his own choice. Secondly, we are very lucky that our institution and our elders, they are so dedicated themselves that create that environment which enhances our dedication to save our country. So that is the environment, enabling environment, which is very important. Right. Then the challenges which you face in day-to-day time. The incident which he has quoted, it was late 80s, mid-80s, when our nuclear weapon was probably almost ready, and we were told that it is under threat and any time it can be attacked because they don't want us to be a nuclear state. And I was then an F-16 pilot, and we were given that challenge that on the east we got to safeguard our nuclear weapon, on the west then Russia was in Afghanistan and they were trying to violate and come into our airspace, and we had to defend our airspace as well. So these challenges really make you even more motivated, more dedicated, because and then you see your comrades, your friends sacrificing their lives and their families paying the price. So that again gives you another impetus that, okay, they have done better than us probably.
True.
That's very true, and I think Pakistan Air Force, and obviously all the forces have the very brilliant traditions, some very nice legacies to uphold, where they protected our sovereignty, our country land, and I always keep saying this anecdote that there is an entire PAF avenue in Damascus in this Syria because the Pakistan Air Force blew up the entire squadron of the Israel there, and in the memory of that, they have named the street PAF avenue in the first place. But now moving on to you, Nausheen, since we have came forward and we are the nuclear country, and I feel very proud being Pakistani because we have provided refuge to so many refugees from Afghanistan, despite the fact that we are a poor country, we do not have resources, and yet all the rich countries fail to take them in, citing there are lots of problems. And I think as a poor country, we did that. So where do you think, what sort of feelings do you have regarding your own country, and how long did we came in creating this concept called Pakistan?
Yeah, I think we should start from the scratch that we are, like as the sir said, that unity as a nation, we have to develop this feeling in our children first. Secondly, the refugees you were talking about, they are here, they are helpless. So even in my institution, they are being educated.
Wonderful.
So, and we are working with them voluntarily because we know that they are going through a lot. Because leaving their home, their country, and then coming to, we can imagine that kind of feeling. So one thing is that, and second thing which I want that being a teacher, being an educationist, I feel like our children or our even teachers should upgrade themselves, should be skilled and skillful, because now we are in the time of AI, where everything is shifting. And globally shifting. If you will not learn or if you will not apply in your life these kind of skills, you will be behind.
True.
And as a Pakistani, and as an educationist, I want to be upgraded and I want to be, bit far.
It's wonderful that that even our teachers are actually thinking on the right track, and this is something which is very important, because Haja, for me and you to be over here, I think that the core motive is that we kind of speak about all of those number one menaces which exist within our own society, recognize them, and only then, ladies and gentlemen, nations can actually progress beyond that. So Sabahuddin Saab, very wonderfully, Air Marshal Retired Yusuf Chaudhry Saab has put that, that there were 3 principles. And we have it everywhere, all over Pakistan: unity, faith, discipline. So now, religious independence, if we are to talk about unity and if we are to talk about ensuring meritocracy, do you think that we have achieved it? Do you think that we're willing to achieve it? And do you think that these are the core reasons, that just because of the fact that we weren't disciplined enough, that we haven't done a lot good to our country?
Shahzad, this day doesn't allow us to be, anything else other than an optimist. And of course, we can't let the hope go away from us.
So being a
but
Pakistani
of course-
doesn't allow us,
but of
anything
course-
being beyond
But
optimistic.
being a realist, we understand that we are much far than where we were required to stand.
True.
But at the same time, 76 years, 77 years in lifespan of a nation, it is nothing. We are a very young nation. We have a lot of potential. It's taking us long to realize that potential. It is taking us long to tap on that. And I think we need to work in 3 domains in this regard.
Sir.
The first and foremost is our economy. We need to have, what people say, the charter of economy. We need to have much more than that. We need to have a proper plan. We need to tap on our right and left, our neighborhood, explore the global opportunities, reach the global markets, and make into the competition that we have. The second is governance. Ride the rain puddles on the road, from that story to the dysfunctional organizations. This is the story of governance, a bad governance. So Pakistan is unfortunately a story of bad governance. We need to, correct ourselves, and we need to have a governance system that sustains us in years to come. And third is democracy. We have to value it.
True.
Because we have not been able to steer in the right direction. We have been interrupted time and again. So we have to give chance to democracy. And I think these 3 things we can make the things corrected. And one additional thing I would like to say, we have to realize the importance of this day. Why we call Pakistan motherland? Why we don't call it fatherland?
Yeah.
The motherland because it nourishes us. Its water hydrates us. Its grains feeds us. So our blood, our very composition of this body is comprised of Pakistan.
True.
So we have to understand this, and we have to realize our own responsibilities in this regard, that how we are going to complete our responsibilities toward this country.
Exactly. Thank you so much, sir, for saying that. But there's one more thing which I would want to, you to kind of shed light on, and that is that you, right at the beginning, said that people really need to be at the center of the affairs, right? Now, I'm going to ask you 3 things, and just very recently I've done that, on Minorities Day, which was on the 11th of August. So I'm going to ask you 3 things, just let me know, and we can certainly figure it out whether people are at the center of, or are the center of attention or not. So do you think that, when we talk about our judicial system, that the law is being dispensed to everybody, and that too making sure that merit is being ensured? Number 1, just say yes or no.
It's very different.
Sir,
and
this
it's
is the
very
day when you just
difficult
have to say yes or
to
no.
explain. No,
That's it.
No, you can't explain everything in black and white. There's a grey shade also.
Oh, okay,
So,
chale.
so we are in the grey shade.
You want to put people in the grey area, okay, that's fine, it's your take. Let's talk about education. Do you think that there's free and good education for every Pakistani out there?
No, I think that's one field we need to do a lot. And we have to be in competition, a global competition, because now we don't talk about the country's citizen, we talk about universal citizens, we talk about global citizens, and we have to become a global citizen, then we have to compete in education.
I like how you're playing with words, but I'm getting what I wanted. and towards the end, just one last question, and that is, do you think that education is free for all Pakistanis who are out there? That's what our constitution tells us, that education is free for everybody. So
It isn't.
it isn't. Thank you so much for saying that. So now we know. Where we are, right? So sir, now I'm going to come back to you over here, and I would want you to recommend what do we need to do to fix all of these affairs.
I think that 3 or 4 things we can do. First thing is unity.
Yes.
No nation I have seen, a divided nation, which has done well in this Committee of Nations.
True.
So our political and religious leaders, they have unfortunately, some of them, exploited the fault lines which we had in the shape of sects, in the shape of ethnicity,
True.
and they made us fight with each other. That has to be overcome. They got to sit together for the sake of Pakistan and make us one nation. Second is, unfortunately, we did not invest enough on the human resource. It is so unfortunate that today in the world we are 161 on the list of HDI, Human Development Index, whereas we are 5th largest country in the world. So with this investment in human resource, we cannot move forward. So we got to spend more in that. Third is, continuity of policies are very important. Remember in 1960s when Ayub Khan was the president of Pakistan, I think we were on the right track. We were doing exceedingly well in the region. Our industry was spreading, our agriculture was being modernized, and our GDP growth was very good. But suddenly, next Prime Minister comes, Mr. Zaidu Bhutto, he nationalizes everything, and we have still not recovered from the damage done by that policies. We talk of Malaysia doing very well, we talk of Singapore doing very well, and Turkey, but we forget that Dr. Mahathir was Prime Minister of Malaysia for 24 years.
That's true.
So that means continuity of policies was there. True. Lee Kuan was Prime Minister of Singapore 31 years. Yes. And now Erdogan, already his party has been in power for 20 years and he has been elected for another 25 years. So we may not recommend that one party staying for so long, but at least our political leaders and all the stakeholders, they can get together and decide main policies, in which economic policy is one, that this is the main policy we're going to follow, regardless who comes into power. Will not make any major change, minor rectification is all right, and we're going to follow that. Remember, where one day your interest rate is 12% and the government comes, it shoots up to 22%, nobody is going to invest in that country. And that is the next one. And then we have not been able to figure out that we have been taking loans in dollars. Unfortunately, very unwisely, we used those loans. We never realized we got to return those in dollars. And in dollars, if you see, and there are only two ways to earn dollars. One is the remittances by the overseas Pakistani, second exports. It is so disturbing and embarrassing that a country of 240 million people have exports of 29 billion only. A small city-state with a population of 6 million only, that is Singapore, is having exports. Last year they had 363 billion US dollars.
So imagine where their GDP stands at.
Look at the Germany.
Yes.
It is 83 million country.
Yes.
Our Punjab population is 127 million alone. Okay, and their exports are 1,650 billion US dollars every year. Wow. So we got to set the things right. Unless we invest in our manpower, it is quality of manpower, not the quantity. True. Probably we are going towards quantity, all right, not towards quality. So we got to upgrade our education system. Yeah. We got to set our priorities right in case we want to move forward.
Thank you so much for saying that, sir.
Right. So, sir, we also would like to ask you in the first place, especially when we talk about patriotism, when we talk about nationalism, and also in the 21st century, you cannot ignore the role of social media into this entire complex where there's so many divisive ideologies, competing ideologies, and people, our citizens, are exposed to them in the first place. How do you think we tackle that? Because I do feel that these divisive ideologies, they dent the idea of patriotism in Pakistani in the first place.
A very good question. First of all, remember, it is the leadership which makes a difference. We got to have a leader today because already we are divided into different groups in the name of ethnicity and the name of religion. So who can bring us and make us one nation? We need a leader, political leader, who can give us hope. I can see negativity spreading all around. I can see frustration all around. So there should be a hope. When you give a hope, people get motivated and they start to perform better. True. And then when you say, when you want to make a nation do well, then each and every person of that nation got to contribute. So it is not the political leadership, it is not the military leadership alone, it is the media, these are the teachers, it is a man working in the field. Everybody should play his role. He should identify what my role is in making this country a better living place, and he should contribute to that.
Right. Thank you so much for brilliantly saying that. And we certainly love the way you spoke about it and you rolled about it. Thank you so much, Air Marshal Saab. Thank you so much, Nausheen Saiba. And thank you so much, sir, for coming here, for having this very wonderful conversation. And we would like to continue this conversation. We have some fun programs and some songs lined up. So after a short break, we are going to come back, so don't go anywhere.
Happy Independence Day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for everybody who just tuned into PT World. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching World This Morning special transmission on 14th of August 2023. Happy Independence Day to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by some more wonderful guests on this auspicious occasion where we are celebrating the Independence Day of Pakistan. First up, we're very lucky that we've been joined by an historian. Ladies and gentlemen, he happens to be one of our favorite guests as well. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Mr. Professor Abdul Basit Mujahid Sahab. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu and Jashn Azadi Mubarak.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Happy Independence Day to all audience and those who are present here in studios.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a wonderful combination because imagine what we have done is that obviously we do have the Buzurgane Pakistan, and now we have been joined by Naujawane Pakistan as well. And we certainly want to kind of, see the difference. How do the Buzurgane Pakistan think and how do the younger people in Pakistan think as well. So we're very lucky that we've been joined by Anushe, who happens to be a musician, a singer herself. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Happy Independence Day.
Happy Happy Independence Day.
Thank you so much for joining us. But Professor Saab, very quickly, you as Buzurgane Pakistan, what do you think about the country?
I think we must be very grateful, thankful to Allah Almighty that Allah has given us this precious gift in the shape of Pakistan. And what I think, what I feel, that whatever is in Surah Ar-Rahman, that Allah has given to us in this beautiful country. And we have everything. We have 4 seasons, we have deserts, we have oceans, we have peaks and everything we have. But we must be thankful not only by saying something, but we must be thankful by doing something, which is the attitude of thankfulness.
Thank you so much, sir, for saying that. But, which is why I'm going to ask you this, that, okay, imagine that, there was a time when I wanted a laptop for myself. So I asked my father, I literally had to beg him, please get me a laptop. So I got it on lease because he couldn't afford it. So I had the laptop, but then I didn't know how to use it. So don't you think that, with Pakistan having 4 seasons, having all the fruits, having all of those amenities, which any country could have, or we could have thought of, we certainly are not utilizing it to its best?
Yes, of course, that is why I was saying that not only mine, but everyone's attitude is not up to the mark.
Yeah.
But we are not that below as well. I think that we must be having very hopeful about our youth.
Yeah.
And our youth have a lot of potential, and whatever we have not done yet, the youth will do, inshallah, to strengthen Pakistan.
That's very true. And when he alluded to the youth, so let's move on to the youth. So Anusha, what does Azadi mean to you? I've seen that you're also adorning green and white in the first place, and we would also like to listen a song from you. But before that, what does Azadi mean to you? How do you celebrate that?
And do you agree with Professor Saab that what Professor Saab is saying is right?
I agree. First of all,
partially.
No, I agree with him, definitely. Okay. Pakistan has given us a lot of facilities, of a lot of obviously the 4 seasons we have. It allows us to have so much agriculture and makes us an agriculturally rich country. But coming from the youth perspective, it is. A lot of my peers are currently planning to leave already. Okay. And I think it was 12 lakh people have already left this.
1.2 million people.
1.2 million people have already left Pakistan in the past year, and even more are doing so. And it's really unfortunate because Pakistan has provided us so much.
Right.
We were raised in this country. We were taught here, and these are the people who are, educated.
True.
These are the people who can actually change the country and change, by becoming the leaders of this country.
True.
But these are the exact people who are leaving the second they can.
So
it's really
why do you think they're leaving? Okay, let me ask you as a youngster, why do you think that a lot of your friends are thinking of leaving and not rather thinking of that, okay, whatever, हमने जो Canada जा आगे करना है, ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ क्यों ना कर लिए?
A lot of, I believe that the main issue is
because internet makes you global. Internet makes you global.
And
if you're going to be online, you can do it over here. It doesn't make a difference if you're going to be somewhere else. I think it's something wrong with the mindset too.
Definitely. Because of how genuinely westernized our media is, especially. Young people, especially teenagers, have a really glistening idea of the Western world.
Because they're just inspired. They watch YouTube videos of the West and they're like, okay, we need to go over there. So now today, we have a very important responsibility for you, and that is that you're going to sing us a patriotic song which will change the minds of the people who are thinking of leaving Pakistan, okay? And you have to make them stay back. So what are you going to sing for our audiences today?
I was thinking of singing Diya Jalaye Rakhna Hai
Yes.
by Shehnaz Begum.
It's all right. Let's do it. So, and for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it's our responsibility that we make sure that ये दिया जलता रहे.
True.
You know, if we are going to plan that, okay, बाहर जाके हम हमारे लिए ज़िंदगी आसान होगी, ऐसा नहीं है. जो काम आपने बाहर करना आप यहाँ पे भी कर सकते हैं. And Pakistan provides you with that opportunity. Alhamdulillah.
Go ahead, Anusha.
मौज बहे या आंधी आए, मौज बहे या आंधी आए, दिया जलाए रखना है, दिया जलाए रखना है. घर की खातिर सौ दुख झेले, घर तो आखिर अपना है, घर तो आखिर अपना है. मौज भरे या आंधी आए, मौज भरे या आंधी आए. बाल बिखेरे उतरी बरखा, रूप लुटाता चांद, रूप लुटाता चांद. या फिर पल को उठी आंधी, तारे पर के मांद, तारे पर के मांद. रात का ठन या दिन हो बोझल, रात का ठन या दिन हो बोझल, रात का ठन या दिन हो बोझल. हंसते चलना है, हंसते गाते चलना है. घर की खातिर सब दुख देखे, चलना है.
Sang it beautifully well as
Thank
well.
you.
At this point of time, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, there's a very important question I need to ask Air Marshal Saab, and that the question is that, you know, if we are to talk about the people of Pakistan, whether they have contributed towards the prosperity and progress is a question which stands at large. Whether we are contributed to our GDP, because as per my research tells me that the entire population of the country, which stands somewhat around, you know, 26 crore people, ladies and gentlemen, are only contributing 0.46% to the GDP. That's a question right after a short break. Don't go anywhere. Happy Independence Day.
Okay, welcome back. And before going on to the break, we had a very interesting conversation. Shehzad threw a question, and I would also like to carry forward that question and tweak it a little bit, and especially throw it to the Air Marshal Saab. So, Air Marshal Saab, we have been asking this question, and I think we have alluded to that in the National Minority Day on the 11th of August too, that we always say that, you know, what does this country has done for us, right? But we never ask, you know, what we have contributed as a citizens towards this country. Do you think that it's time we change our question and we change our perspective about how we think about a country, about a patriotism, about a nationalism, and we need to move forward as a nation if we want to progress?
I would start from what our friend in the previous segment had said, that Pakistan is nothing but people of Pakistan.
True.
If we are good, Pakistan is good. If we are bad, Pakistan is bad. So whatever we want to see Pakistan, we got to be that, to be having a good Pakistan.
True.
Unfortunately, as I said before, being 161 on the list of HDI says it all. Our leaders very often, they take pride by saying that we have a young population, 65% of our people are below the age of 35, giving impression that this is an asset and we can expel this, we can move forward very quickly with this. Let me tell you that in case this population, young population, is educated, skilled, disciplined and healthy, we can take a leap forward.
Exactly.
In case this population is illiterate, it is ill-disciplined, it is unhealthy and unskilled, it is a liability, not an asset. And unfortunately, that is the state in which
Do
we
we have
are.
more liabilities, or do you think that we have more assets?
I think we have more liability, if you want me to say very candidly. And who is to blame? Parents are to blame.
All of us.
And of course, government is to blame. People want to contribute, but they are not capable enough to contribute.
True.
A guy who, a young man who in the morning starts to pick up the garbage, he wants to contribute, but what his contribution is to the national exchequer, as was being said before. And on top of that, brain drain is really damaging us. I was listening, and there was one question asked from a person, forgetting his name. He was head of one of the think tanks of United States. He was asked that China is going to overtake USA within 10 years. He says, not so quickly. Listen, why? He said China is picking up best brains out of a population of 1.45 billion, which is their population. We pick up the best brains to run our systems out of 8 billion people. That from the entire world we pick up the people.
Right.
We have been good in dumping the people in the name of religion, in the name of sex, etc. We got to understand how to adapt the people. There are people we must kiss those people with them, bring them in the fold of our own, which we are very poor in.
Right. And I think we also, because you give us a lot of food for thought, and I think we need to contemplate more over that. But Basit Saab, now moving on to you. So what is, according to, in your repository, the ingredients that make a good and a responsible citizen in the first place? And if you gauge it by the Pakistani standards, where do you think as citizens we stand, and what needs to be done in order to be more responsible and more productive citizens? Like Shahzad was alluding to, there's so much population, there's so many people out there, but they are not being as productive as they need to be, and make sure that the youth pulse or the demographic gift that we have, we need to utilize it more productively.
In fact, as a student of history, I must remember that what Qaid said on 11th of August and what he said on 14th of August 1947. The thing is that we are deviating from the principles set by Qaid-e-Azam. Qaid-e-Azam diagnosed whatever would be happening at the very inset of emerging of this Pakistan. He said that we must have this meritocracy, we must not have nepotism, we must not have black marketing, and at the same time he also said this thing very clearly, that we must cease to be anything else, just we must be a Pakistani. So big interrogative mark is that whether we all are having this only identity being a Pakistani. So answer is very clear.
True.
And another thing is that at least we must, on this auspicious day, must realize this thing, that we are deviating from the way of Qaid-e-Azam. And at the same thing, if we realize this thing, we have potential. But we have to make it possible that what Qaid was thinking. I refer to 11th August, now I am referring very briskly to 14th of August. On 14th of August, when Lord Mountbatten said that he was advising Qaid-e-Azam that in Pakistan, in future Pakistan, we must follow the footsteps of Akbar the Great. So how clear Qaid was, he said, no need of Akbar. We have very clear ideal in the shape of Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. So we connect ourselves to our roots, and we must follow the guidance and guiding principles of Qaid-e-Azam. We would be on track, inshallah.
Utna deen, baithna deen, chalna deen, khana deen, everything really needs to be that. But sir, in addition to this, I would like to ask over here that, while we speak of it, I mean, for any intelligent individual, that's what they're going to do. And this is a research which I studied from an Ivy League university, and it said that only 1% of the total population of the globe will have brilliant and newer ideas. The rest are only supposed to follow it, just as or exactly the way they've done it. Now imagine that we geographically are located at a position or at a location where two of our neighbors are actually vouching to become superpowers, right? Why don't you think that we certainly have the same ability to do so? Or why do you think that we were not able to replicate their ideas? Why do you think that we fell short? Why do you think that we were blindfolded? What causes us to stay here at $8 billion of foreign reserve, and what causes them to be at $600 billion or trillions of dollars?
I already mentioned that we are not still having pride on being Pakistani. See, ownership is the main thing. If we have ownership of this land, then we could deliver. And the thing is, everyone is responsible. Not only politicians, establishment, we all masses, we all are responsible that at least we own this thing, that we have now this beloved country, and we have to do a lot for this. And the thing, what is our geopolitical location that demands more sincerity? See, we have political instability, we have economic instability, we have no religious tolerance. So these are the things which Qaid mentioned, and we are not just saying on few days like 14th August, 23rd March that what Qaid said, but why we are not following. This is a big question mark, and we have to respond to this question mark from not tomorrow, from today, inshallah.
But sir, why? You know, that's the question.
Because we have lack of sincere leadership and in every sphere of life.
Thank you so much.
This is what we have to think, that we have to bring a real leadership to the surface.
I think we need to tackle some difficult questions if we want to evolve as a nation, and we need to have some very honest conversations with ourselves
so much, Hajra, for
as
saying
a
that.
nation. But now moving to you, Air Marshal Saab. So since we are talking about young people and how to make them more productive, so I think Shahzad and I were having this discussion, and we said that before coming on to this show, so you see that there's a lot of lined up with the buntings and the flags and the celebration, all the merchandise, right? And you will find those bajas, and they're very annoying in the first place, right? So when we talk about celebrations or Azadi movement, so you will find that a lot of people, you know, would blow that bajas, and it's very annoying, right?
Motorcycle ka silencer nikal diya, sir,
Exactly,
khidkiyon se bahar nikal aaye.
This is not how it should be, right? So, I mean, how do we make sure that a huge youth pulse that we have, how do we make more productive citizens instead of just, you know, blowing that horn and doing two-wheeling and all of those stupid things in the first place, which is very annoying and does not project as a very responsible
और हर 13
nation.
अगस्त को तकरीबन ब्लू एरिया में ट्रैफिक जैम और फिर कल रात को घर पहुंचते 2 बज जाते हैं. You know, so how do you respond to
deal
that?
with that? Yeah.
I think unfortunately we have gone wrong at two places. One is our emphasis on education. We talk of India, he has said they have $600 billion reserve, and we have 8, not even 8. I think they are in minus in case you calculate carefully. Main thing is they have invested in education. They have invested in their youth. I have met overseas Indians at many places. If you remember, their vice president from America is an Indian. Her mother had gone to America for PhD, and she was born there 55 years ago, and now she became the vice president. So you can imagine a lady from India had gone to United States 6 years ago for PhD.
Yeah.
Or probably ladies were not even being sent to school at that time. This is one. See, top 10 company, their CEOs or number 2 people are Indians. Because they've invested in education. Look at our budget, even that is not being utilized, which is for the education. Second part is we have failed to groom our children. We number of children are more, and a mother is earning something, working somewhere, father is going out for a job, and they're left in the street to learn whatever they learn. So unless we invest on our children, my friends keep saying, how can we return? Pakistan has given us a lot. I say, if you can give your children a good citizens to this country who are dedicated, who are capable, who are disciplined, I think you've done your bit.
All right. So,
unfortunately,
so which is why I'm going to ask Anusha. Anusha, are you dedicated? Do you think that you're capable to give back to Pakistan? Do you think?
I would really hope so. I've always hoped that I could give back to this country. I love it with all my heart.
And how do you intend on doing that? You know, there needs to be a plan. I think that's something which is missing with youngsters. And you know, me as a youngster, when I was, you know, at that budding age of 22 and 23, certainly didn't had any idea what am I supposed to do. And there was, you know, everybody's going to get their calling. So there was this calling where I thought, okay, you know, probably rather than working at a private channel, it's best that I, you know, represent PTV World. You know, it's going to go out in the country. People will see that there are more educated people out there. talking more sense, making sure that they're going to talk about those pivotal areas where we really need to highlight, talk, and then bring about that change. So how do you plan on doing that? And what about your friends? What do they think about Pakistan?
See, personally, I am a media student.
Yeah.
So media is a very important pillar in society. Yeah. It allows people to gather information. You can
only
use it
right
to,
people are on those seats. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really hope.
Otherwise, it's a tool of polarization
exactly.
too. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I really hope to be to help people through media.
कैसे करेंगी कैसे? मैं ये जानना चाहता हूँ ना नौजवान.
Especially like how he sir said that education is really important.
So alhamdulillah, you're a university student, you're studying media studies. So how do you plan on bringing about that change? आपको लोग प्रेशराइज करेंगे कि आपने ठीक बात नहीं बोलनी टीवी के ऊपर, कैसे बोलेंगी फिर आप? कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो जाएगा ना फिर आप करेंगी कॉम्प्रोमाइज?
Honestly,
and I'm very sorry that I'm speaking in Urdu, but it is for the larger, betterment of the audiences out there in Pakistan, which I want to understand that please make sure that you do not compromise at every stage of your life. There needs to be a day when you need to stand upright, you need to stand tall, you need to make sure that you make sense and that you instill sense in the people of Pakistan, please.
See, saying the right thing, doing the right thing is not something that you can compromise ever. Even if people are saying that, don't do this, even if people are,
Pakka wada?
Pakka wada.
Okay.
So I think let's move forward with Basit Saab, since we were having this conversation about the education and you were linked to the academia and you are a historian and a professor also. So I was having this discussion with my father and he said that when we were growing up, we had the subject called civic sense or civic education, right? So where they used to instill in us what does and how does a responsible citizen should act and what are the responsibilities being a more responsible citizen, right? But we don't see that subject anymore. I haven't studied it. I don't know about Shehzad in the first place. But where is the gap when we talk about being more responsible citizens in our education system, in our academia, and especially when we talk about grooming young kids from nursery, from playgroup, and I don't know what sort of lexicon is used nowadays. I don't know, playgroup or something like that. So from a younger age, how can we mold our citizens into being more productive?
And imagine that I went to a school where there was this subject called home economics and the boys couldn't really attend that class. So imagine that there was discrimination there, unfortunately, but please.
In fact, the problem is multifold. One thing is that our curricula must be compatible with the needs.
Yeah.
And second thing is that the missing link is proper training of professional teachers. First of all, teachers must be groomed properly. They must be trained how to tackle a particular level of students. And second thing is that whatever is our as a whole attitude, we have very good theoretical models, but practice is missing. And one thing more, what we need is mentoring of the students, just not to teach them. Mentoring is something up above high, and that is missing now in our educational institutions. People are just there, they are having this some sort of curricula and they are memorizing it and then getting degrees. But the thing is that we all, being a teacher, I must say that teacher must be a mentor, and that mentoring is missing because we have to inculcate values as well, just not the curricula.
Thank you so much, sir, for saying that, because I'm going to share another experience which I am a witness to, and that was that, one of my friend, I'm not going to name, he's still my friend, but imagine what he did in his life. So he was a dropout from multiple universities. Even while he came to our university, he couldn't study very well, so he was a dropout. 4-5 years later, I kind of met him and I was like, okay, what are you doing these days? So he was like, I'm the I'm very sorry, Commissioner KPK Social Security. And I was like, yeah, you didn't even finish your degree. How did you end up there? So imagine his journey was that he got himself hired, as a government teacher, then, had this transfer made. And then he was there, who certainly didn't have any idea of education, what it was. He was hired as a teacher, unfortunately, and that's a menace which I would want to highlight. So imagine that, where sir right at the beginning said that we're not going to ensure meritocracy, ladies and gentlemen, things will certainly not be, directed in the right direction. So imagine, I keep on saying that if I am to go to Lahore, and a person who actually visits Peshawar almost every now and then, I cannot be asking the way to Lahore from a person who's going to go to Peshawar. You know, I need to ask it from somebody who goes to Lahore. You know, I think that's something which has been very misleading for all of us, and for all of those people who've been giving those benefits to people just because of the fact that they happen to be their friends, their relatives. Please stop doing that. You know, this is a humble submission of mine for everybody who's out there. Please stop doing that. You know, if you are going to do it in your capacity, imagine that's what your future generations will do. Don't you think, sir, that this is that particular area where we certainly need to put more focus primarily, because meritocracy is something we fall very short of.
Definitely, that is one of the reasons that we have not done well. In case you don't pick up a right person for the right job, you are not going to succeed. It is as simple as that. I would just like to add that taaleem ke saath tarbiyat is even more important. Unfortunately, you can imagine how can you move forward when your official literacy rate is 60%, and practically I think it is less than 50%. All these developed countries, they have stopped calculating their literacy rate because they say it is wastage of effort to collect data. They say it is 99%. If you don't send your child to school, you will be put in the jail. So it is 60% literacy rate, and tarbiyat is I think 0%. And that is the main reason that we will like.
Thank you so much. And you know, just yesterday, Haja, at this point, I was in conversation with this friend of mine who happens to live in Germany now. You know, he was a wonderful engineer, he was working over here, but then he thought that, okay, it's best that I move to Germany. So he said that, you know, while my wife was pregnant, the authorities would come to my place and be like, you need to register your child in a school so that as soon as he's born and he's able to go to the school, that he's already admitted. Imagine that that's what the government is doing over there. And then he told me that further on, obviously the education is free, no matter what happens for everybody. But if he plans to, or now obviously he's got a son now, so if he plans to enroll himself in a PhD, the government will pay him 1,000, 2,000 euros rather than taking fee from him. So imagine that's how they're developing brains.
So I think because when you're talking about Germany and they're really short on the population, and they really want to encourage people or more babies being born there. So obviously you alluded to an important point, which is about being a welfare state, right? So Abdul Basit Saab, now moving on to you, how much do you think it's important to have a welfare state which can look after your interest of the people? And when we talked about investing on the human development, right? Investing on the humans in the first place and catering to the needs of the people, common citizens. And how does it fits into the equation of patriotism in the first place when we talk about the welfare state?
And sir, very quickly, I would like to add over here, I'm sorry, but I'll have to do it in Urdu. So imagine that for all of those overseas Pakistanis who live in UK, Canada, you know, wherever welfare states are, first of all, they do not work, you know, okay, so what they look forward to is what the government is going to give to them, you know, majority of the people, unfortunately. Imagine people over here, pehle hi kaam nahi karde, hona si welfare keh ke ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਰ ਹੋਰ ਮਜ਼ੀਦ ਬਿਠਾਣਾ ਹੈ.
In fact, the thing is that we must not be extremist in any way. The thing is that I always say that there is a half filled of water already there, so we have to fill it up properly. The thing is that Qaid-e-Azam was saying
sir ਕੰਕਰੀਆਂ ਪਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਉੱਤੇ ਲਿਆਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ
ਕੰਕਰੀਆਂ ਪਾਓ ਤੇ ਸਹੀ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾ ਰਹੇ
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ.
The thing is that Qaid-e-Azam said this thing to us, that we must be not only just saying that we are patriot, and he pledged this welfare state. Where is that welfare state?
Ji.
Look at our hospitals. A couple of days ago, there was a unfortunate incident of de-tracking of train, and at the nearby village medical center was not having even minor medicines and bandage.
True.
So this is what the real situation is. We have not scarcity of resources. Whatever we have resources, we are not utilizing. Look at hospitals and these basic health units. They are converted into a cattle farm or something like that. So accountability across the board, meritocracy, and the thing is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already said, "I'dilu huwa aqrabu lit-taqwa."
Yes.
So what is adl? Adl is, as Air Marshal Saab was saying, that a proper person at proper place.
True.
There are a lot of people, those who are considering themselves that they are master of all trade. Nobody is master of all trade. Who is claiming that master of all trade, he is expert in and not in a single way. So we must be having this thing that we respect each and every Pakistani, whatever he is doing, and state must help to groom them properly, and meritocracy is the line which we have to follow, which is not being followed yet.
Thank you so much, sir, for saying that, because imagine, ladies and gentlemen, so we just do not have ministers, for our ministries over here, but then we have special advisors, then we have advisors, so it probably makes a bunch of 1,000 or 2,000 people who are at the helm of affairs. And unfortunately, on the 76th independence, I have to say it outright. And the reason being is that if me and Hajra, we're not going to contribute to this cause, unfortunately, because I have this dream that within my own life, I need to see Pakistan progressing. And inshallah, we will. There's no dearth of talent over here. There are people like, Yusuf Saab over here. There are people like Professor Saab over here. There are people like Anushay over here who wants to stay away in Pakistan and do well. Which is why I think at this point of time, you certainly need to raise our patriotism level with your national patriotic songs. So which one are you going to sing for us now?
I'll be singing Is Par Cham Ke Saaye.
Is Par Cham Ke Saaye. Let's do it together.
इस परचम के साए तले हम एक हैं, हम एक हैं। इस परचम के साए तले हम एक हैं, हम एक हैं। समझे अपनी खुशियाँ, एक ही कश्ती के हैं मुसाफिर, एक मंजिल के राही, एक मंजिल के राही। अपनी आन पे पिटने वाले हम जानबाज सिपाही, हम जानबाज सिपाही। बंद मुट्ठी की सूरत पा हम एक हैं, हम एक हैं। सांझे अपनी खुशियाँ, सांझे अपनी खुशियाँ और गम एक हैं, हम एक हैं। इस परचम के साए तले हम एक हैं, हम एक हैं।
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, sir, Yusuf Saab, for being with us. Thank you so much, Anushay, for being with us. Thank you so much, Professor Saab, for being with us. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, so we've had 2 generations over here, alhamdulillah.
Yes.
Now it's about time that we talk about or kind of listen to the newer generation, the young little boys and girls of Pakistan, and what do they have to say about their own country, motherland, we call Pakistan. We're heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Happy Independence Day. Azadi Mubarak.
Welcome back, and we had a very lovely conversation with our guest, and like Shahzad alluded to before, that now we have been joined by little bright young stars of the Pakistan, and we want to ask about
Bundle of joy.
Yes, how do they celebrate? And there is a new name for them in the town. They are called Generation Z. Yeah. So we have Generation Z in the studio, and we would like to ask them, how do they celebrate their Independence Day? Because certainly we had some different connotations to our Independence Day when we were growing up, right? So without any further ado, we would like to introduce our wonderful young stars in our studio. We are very glad that we have been joined by Sarim Zaryab, who also happens to be a very talented musician. Assalamu alaikum, Sarim.
Happy Independence Day
to you.
You too. Thank you for inviting me.
And thank you so much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you over here. Pakistan Zindabad.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. And alongside Sarim, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've been joined by a student who actually, what does he want to be when he grow up? I think that's going to be a wonderful question, but he happens to be Mr. Abdul Hadi. Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Jashn Azadi Mubarak.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Jashn Azadi, hame bhi Mubarak. Thank you so much, Abdul Hadi, for joining us. Wonderful to have you over here. And ladies and gentlemen, last but not the least, we have a superstar over here, and her name happens to be Daneen. Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Jashn Azadi Mubarak.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Absolutely perfect. How are you? Are you enjoying Independence Day today?
Yes.
Yeah, you look wonderful. Where did you get your dress from?
I got it from market, and I also make sure that I wear a new dress on Independence.
Oh, wow. And you always make sure you're going to wear a new dress on Independence Day. Okay. How much do you love your country? What is the name of your country?
My country's name is Pakistan, and I love my country.
How much?
Like a lot more.
Do you love your father and mother more, or do you love your country more? Do you love mummy or daddy more, or do you love Pakistan more?
I love Pakistan.
I love Pakistan.
wow,
Thank you so much for
interesting.
saying that. You know, that was
He's a
amazing.
politician in the
And
making.
who loves you more? Does your daddy love your mummy more or you more?
They both does.
Okay, I think that's wonderful. Hadi, what about you? What do you love the most? You know about Pakistan. If I am to ask you, कि Pakistan में क्या अच्छा लगता है, so what are you going to say?
Faisal Masjid.
Faisal Masjid. You love Faisal Masjid, and do you go over there very often?
Yes.
Do you go pray over there?
Yes.
Wow, wonderful. And when we are to speak about independence, do you think that your father is more independent at home, or do you think your mother is more independent at home?
Father.
Your father is more independent, and your mother is not. Really? Oh, okay. You just have to make sure that when you go back home, your mother does not kind of resort to anything other than peace and love with you. Okay?
Yes.
So it's wonderful to have you. Sarim, what about you? When we say that, Independence Day, what do you take of Independence Day?
So basically, what I take of Independence Day is that Azadi.
Yeah.
We had a partition from India, which is basically the best thing we ever had.
True.
They were legit making us their slaves. We had to do whatever they said,
True.
and we also had to do whatever Britain said. So, thank God, Qaeda just did
Kind
this.
of gave us this land where we were able to go to our mosque, study what we wanted to study, grow as we wanted to grow. Not just that. And I think that, that speech, because Professor Abdul Basim Mujahid sir was speaking about it, I think it's a very famous speech of Qaeda Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, where he actually said that, that you're free to go to your mosque, you're free to go to your temples, yes. And I think that
And any
this,
place of worship,
this is
yeah.
something which throughout our nation, ladies and gentlemen, throughout our people over in Pakistan, it kind of resonates. But now, Daneen, coming back to you, जब हम कहते हैं कि यार आज़ादी मुबारक, तो इसका क्या मतलब होता है?
It means like Pakistan
Is free, right? We are free and we can do anything. So when we say that we can do anything, does that mean that we should make Pakistan dirty? Do you
No.
think we should clean it more? What do we need to
we
do?
should clean it more and keep our Pakistan clean
Yes,
and
green.
like clean and no robbers.
Yeah, no
or
robbers.
something, yeah.
No
and
shopping.
like nothing like bad peoples in our town.
Yeah.
And something.
Oh,
Wow.
wonderful.
And that.
Wonderful. So, Hadi, now moving on to you, how do you celebrate your Independence Day? Tell us
I
about it.
celebrate my Independence Day. First, I go to market and buy my Azadi dress
Okay.
and flags, and then balloons, and then I decorate my cycle and my
wonderful.
house with flags and balloons.
Yeah.
And then I cut the cake.
Oh,
And then
wonderful.
you got a cake as well. Wow, I think that's great. And while you're doing all of this, you might think of Pakistan now. So now if I'm to ask you when you're going to grow up, what are you going to become first? Tell me that.
Army man.
Army man. So you want to be in Pakistan Army, right?
Yes.
And once you're going to be an army man, what are you going to do then?
Then I will do engineering.
Engineering.
Oh,
Okay, wow, that's wonderful. I
Yes,
think that
the
the
life
boys got a
figured
plan.
out.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
boys
yeah.
got a plan over here.
Yeah.
Salim, what about you? What do you want to be? You're a musician, alhamdulillah, and you're a wonderful musician as of now. But when we are going to talk about how are you going to contribute towards Pakistan's progress and prosperity, what are your plans?
What are my plans for Pakistan's progress?
Yes.
So basically, one of my plans, or you could say, according to me, is that I just want to make it perfect.
Wonderful.
This might sound kind of weird because like nothing's perfect, but I just want to make it perfect, have nothing to do with evil energy. I don't want any negativity in this country.
Yeah.
I only want positive energy and good people around me.
And that's exactly what we are thinking about today. And thank you so much that that you came up with this bright idea. And it's not weirdo at all, let me tell you.
Yes.
Because in the first place, you really need to have this intent. Once you have this intent, that's the first step that you've taken. Once you start to speak about it, that's the second step that it's going to bring about that change, like-minded people together. And once you're going to resonate on all of these values where you do not want any negativity, any evil minds working against Pakistan, within Pakistan, this will inshallah work. And number 3, please make sure that you have faith in Allah Almighty that all my plans will come in action and in play. Which is why, ladies and gentlemen, these kids today have actually prepared, a very amazing patriotic song that we grew up singing together, and they're going to perform it for us. So, would you guys mind sharing it with our audiences? Can we please stand up?
Yes, sure.
Okay, wonderful. Daneen, you can keep on sitting. That's wonderful. Okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Let's do it.
Should I start?
Sure, go ahead.
3, 2, 1, go.
ऐसी ज़मीन और आसमां इनके सिवा जाना कहाँ बढ़ती रहे ये रोशनी चलता रहे ये कारवां दिल दिल पाकिस्तान जा जा पाकिस्तान दिल दिल पाकिस्तान जा जा पाकिस्तान समा इनके सिवा जाना कहाँ बढ़ती रहे ये रोशनी चलता रहे ये कारवां दिल दिल पाकिस्तान जा जा पाकिस्तान
में पिरोए तो फिर सहरा बनता है, सहरा बनता है ओ दिल दिल पाकिस्तान। Sing with me. जा जा पाकिस्तान, दिल दिल पाकिस्तान, जा जा पाकिस्तान। Wonderful, yaar. Wonderful, guys. Thank you so much. We love how much effort you put in. You can sit down, please sit down.
Thank you.
And it's wonderful to have you young people over here inside the studios and giving us that energy that we need and reminding us about how it used to be with us. And Haja, on this occasion I would want to kind of reflect on my childhood memory.
Yes.
And that was that every 14th of August, because that was the time when I think we were living in G10 Islamabad, and I was I think 8 or 9 years old.
Right.
So the entire community used to come together and we had an entire day filled with sports. What
Yes.
the people of the community would do was that there was going to be relay race, there was going to be
Yeah.
bicycle
Yes.
race, and
Yes,
Milli Nagme and Muqable and
Yes.
whatnot. And we used to love it, and that's how we grew up, and that's how we had this ability to love our country beyond any means, and it was wonderful. So Daneen, let me come back to you. So now, what are you going to be when you're going to grow up?
I want to be an army doctor.
You want to be an army doctor. And what are you going to do when you're going to become a doctor?
When I become a doctor or army doctor, I will help people when they get sick or they get any injury.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, nazar na lagaye. And so you're going to help them, God forbid, if they're going to get any injury. How come you're so smart at this young age?
Yeah, tell us how to be smart. I want to be smart like you. How can I be smart?
Because I'm a mother, father, they tell me the right position every time.
Yeah, so who's more intelligent? Is it your father or your mother?
They're both.
They're both intelligent. I think
She's
you're
very
more.
intelligent.
I think she's far more intelligent than their parents. Okay,
Yeah.
do you like makeup?
Makeup, a little bit.
A little bit. So how do you get your makeup? Do you get it from your mother or do you get it yourself?
Sometimes I get it from my mother.
And does your mother like makeup?
Yeah.
And when does she do all the makeup?
When she goes to school.
When she goes to school. And
Yeah.
when daddy comes, does she get ready or?
She does house chores when she comes
House
from
chores.
school.
Khubsurat, mashallah. Subhanallah. It's been ages that I've never met. I think my mind is blown that she's so smart and she's so intelligent. And we love it. And may Allah always give you what you ask for. Ameen, Summa Ameen, to all of you children. And Sarim, now coming back to you, so you have prepared another song for us as well. So do you want to share it with us?
Sure, but
Please.
the thing is, it's kind of long.
Okay,
Sure,
go ahead.
sure, go ahead.
Take your
Good luck.
time.
It's basically it's a loop of a song. So
Okay.
I complete it once and then I do it again.
Okay,
Sure,
okay,
sure,
okay.
go ahead, go
Wonderful.
ahead.
And are you going to sing along as well?
No.
Okay, wonderful. So let's listen. Let's listen and let's make something out of it, okay?
Okay.
That's what we can do best. And you can turn up the volume a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, let's do it together. तुम हो बांस बांस के ये वतन
That's basically the entire song, and then we go into a loop again and again.
Yeah.
Sure,
Wow.
go ahead,
Wow,
go
that's wonderful. Go ahead.
It's the same thing. It's like
Okay, go ahead.
Tumhara. Come on, Abdul Hadi. We're going to sing together. Tum ho paas bais ke. ये आप ही के लिए है. तुम ही हो पास बाईस के. तुम हो नगमा खाइस के. Thank you so much, Sarim. Thank you so much, Abdul Hadi, and thank you so much, Daneen, for being with us. But very quickly, before we wrap up this segment, Daneen, if you are to talk to all of those Pakistanis who are out there, what are you going to ask them? What do you think they need to do to make sure that Pakistan is going to be a good country for everybody?
I should tell you that keep your country safe and love your country, and don't keep your country like unclean, and don't throw trash anywhere so it can't be so like dirty.
Yeah.
The town can't be dirty.
Yeah.
No thieves, please don't rob
Yes,
thieves.
yes.
That's all.
Wow, wonderful. And everybody is supposed to do their work on time. You know, everybody is supposed to get to office on time. You know, if their office is at 9 a.m., you know, they should be coming to their office at 9 a.m., not at 11 or 12 or 1 p.m. Right? You know, everybody needs to work for themselves in the first place and then make sure that they work and contribute towards the country. Daneen, if you don't mind, how old are you?
Me, I'm 7.
You're 7 years old. Why does it feel like as if I'm talking to somebody who's 30 years old, mashallah? Huh? How come you're so intelligent?
Because actually, when I was small, I started really quickly school, so that's why. And my mom also made me study so fast.
Okay, wow, that's wonderful.
That's
Hadi,
wonderful.
what is your message today?
To clean our Pakistan clean, and do not
Litter
throw
it
trash anywhere, and we do not robbers.
Yeah, so we do not want robbers and thieves, and it's a wonderful message. Thank you so much, Hadi. Sarim, what about you? What are you going to tell people today?
So as I said before, I don't want any negativity
Yeah.
and any bad, evil, spiritual stuff around my country and everything. I don't want bad people around me. I just want good people. The main point is that I just want a free country with everyone here, with everyone talking to each other, everyone good, everyone.
And everyone is full of love. So thank you so much,
Thank you
Dani.
so
Thank you
much.
so much,
Thank you
Abdul
so
Hadir.
much.
And thank you so much,
Thank you
Sarim,
so
for
much.
being with us. For everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, at this point of time, we're heading out towards a short break. Don't go anywhere, because when you come back, we have a very special announcement to make. So stay tuned. Azadi Mubarak. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you very much for staying tuned, and for everybody who's out there and who just tuned in to PT World Special Transmission on the 76th Independence Day of Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank each and every member, you know, standing over here with us, of our team, of our guests. So, sir, thank you so much. Ladies, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you
with
so
us on this occasion. It was wonderful to have you over here. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up with a resolve that, you know, people from all walks of life, may it be students, teachers, politicians, anchor persons, anybody and everybody, ladies and gentlemen, they can always contribute if there's that right intent. And I think that's certainly what we need to work on as Pakistanis. Pakistan is a blessed country, there's no doubt in it. We just want right people at the right job, and that's it. And I think that we will be steering in the direction of prosperity, progress, and sincerity is something that we are going to admire in days to come. What about you, Hajra?
Right, thank you so much. You know, as we stand here, reflect upon our existence as a Pakistani, so I think we have always maintained, and I've always maintained, that we need to ask the right question, that what have we contributed towards this country, instead of asking, say, how did this country contribute to my growth? This is the wrong question. And if we asked this question rightly in a true perspective, I think we will go multi-folds ahead in the Committee of Nations as a more progressive nation and as a more developed country.
So
And this is
towards
what
the
I
end,
am.
let's say it out loud. Pakistan
Zindabad!
Zindabad! Come on, let's play it. Dil Dil Pakistan. I think that's how I'm going to end my show. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do it. Pakistan, ja, ja, Pakistan, dil, dil, Pakistan, ja, ja, Pakistan, dil, dil se milte hain to pyare ka chehra banta hai, oh, phool ek ladi se roye to phir
Sehra banta hai, sehra banta hai.
Pakistan, ja, ja, Pakistan, dil, dil, Pakistan, ja, ja, Pakistan, dil, dil, Pakistan, ja, ja, Pakistan. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. Sima,
जाना जहाँ
बढ़ती रहे ये रोशनी चलता रहे ये कारवां. Thank you so much, sir. Jazakallah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Sarin. Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Isnat. Thank you so much, Isnat.